Hello, welcome again to the YouTube series, Papa Lee and the Aliens. I am your host and narrator, Henry Lee Chennault, aka Mystery Answer Man, aka Papa Lee. Today's episode will cover the exact location of the Garden of Eden. I'm really excited to teach this episode, so let's get started. The time is 10,000 BC. Neanderthal man has been eliminated by the Cro-Magnon giants and was extinct. Homo sapiens had spread all over the globe, still living in fear of the few red-haired giants that remained. Man was still a nomadic hunter and fisherman. Agriculture had barely come into existence. Things are about to take a sudden change. When we left the last episode, the sons of God moved to the far side of the moon to a place called Aitken Basin. The Greys still had a mining operation in South Africa, but had moved their main colony to an extinct volcano in the eastern part of Antarctica. The Greys claimed South America, Australia, Africa, and Antarctica. The Sons of God claimed the Black Sea region in North America. Around 10,000 BC, the Sons of God felt that they needed to reestablish their mining operations. In the past, they had been bartering for gold in exchange for technology with the Greys. The Sons of God decided to develop a mining operation in the Anatolia Plateau region of Turkey. They chose the site of two volcanoes located 20 miles apart. One was Hasan Dagi, the other was Erciyes Dagi. The Anatolia Plateau is a dry and arid desert due to the European Ice Age. At the base of Erciyes Dagi lies the Sultansa, I can't even pronounce it, or they call it the Sultan Marshes, also commonly called today. The marshes are commonly called the reed forest. This wetland consists of two reed-covered freshwater lakes. Between the two lakes lies another lake that is a saltwater reservoir. This is the largest wetland ecosystem in Turkey and is fed by numerous springs and streams. Its location at the junction of three continents, Africa, Asia, and Europe, makes it an important breeding ground for over 250 species of birds, including the famous pink flamingo. Around 10,000 BC, the land is sparsely inhabited with a few villages of Homo sapiens, living along the Kizilmak River. Near the base of the other volcano, Hasan Dagi, lays a sprawling village. Farming wheat is in its infancy. The Sons of God would use the Homo sapiens for mining the gold in the Gadaes River. In exchange, they would teach the Homo sapiens farming skills and techniques. The Sons of God would also later provide protection from the Cro-Magnon giants in the region by building underground cities. They had the technology to build these underground cities because in their early development on their home planet in the Sirius star system, they themselves lived underground. Remember, the Sons of God are albinos. Before the Homo sapiens went underground, they lived in over 400 houses that measured 6 feet by 14 feet. Around 9000 BC, Hasan Dagi erupted, covering these houses with ash and killing a lot of the population. This event was recorded and documented on wall paintings dating back to 7500 BC. It was at this time that the Sons of God chose to build the underground cities of what is known today as Dir Kuyu and Kaymakli. These two underground cities were connected with an 8-kilometer tunnel. Dir Kuyu is located at the base of the Erciyes Dagi and is a popular tourist attraction. This underground city could house 20,000 workers. It also contained stables, a winery, and a grain mill. In the meantime, the Sons of God had already built their base camp at what is today known as Göbekli Tepe. Archaeological excavation has dated Göbekli Tepe back to 10,000 BC. It is situated on a flat and barren plateau. The plateau is connecting to a neighboring mountain range. Göbekli Tepe was built with gold dome structures. Remember that gold is so malleable that 1 ounce of the metal can be pounded out to cover an entire football field. Gold also reflects dangerous ultraviolet rays from the sun, which would be extremely harmful to the albino reptilians. This is the same fashion that the Sons of God's cities were built on their home planet in the Sirius star system. The same type of architecture can be seen at Stonehenge, except wood, not gold, was used to cover the structure. Within the excavated remains of the city can be seen stone carvings of lions, bulls, foxes, gazelles, donkeys, snakes, crocodiles, insects, and birds. These are the same animals that lived in the Sultan Marsh between the two volcanoes. They would soon be eradicated. There are also a few humanoid figures. These represented the inhabitants of the region. One might think they would represent the Sons of God, except the carvings had male genitalia. And remember, the Sons of God were reptilian, So they did not have genitalia, they had cloaca, which was a single opening. Around 6200 BC, Hasan-Dagi erupted again. This time the ash covered the underground cities, closing off the ventilation shafts and killing all of those inhabitants underground. The workers above ground all died from ash, heat, and mudslides. The sons of God decided to vacate Göbekli Tepe and relocate in the Black Sea region. Before they would leave the Anatolia region, they would perform 2 acts. The first act was to bury their city. The site was deliberately backfilled with debris, mostly flint, gravel, stone, tools, and animal bones. These animal bones were the same animal species carved on the stone pillars. Some of these animal species went extinct in this region after the eruption of Hasan-Dagi around 6200 BC. The second act that the sons of God would perform was to create the Garden of Eden. So what was the purpose of the Garden of Eden? The Garden of Eden was to provide food for the sons of God. One of these foods in particular was the fruit from the tree of life. This plant was brought by the sons of God from their home planet. The fruit of this tree was responsible for the reptilians' longevity. More will be discussed about the tree of life later. Adam and Eve were created and placed in the Garden of Eden to tend to the plants and animals. More of this story will follow also. So now we get to the heart of the matter. Where was the Garden of Eden located? The exact location of the Garden of Eden was in the valley at the base of the Erciyes-Dagi at the bottom of the eastern slopes of the volcano. Glaciers melting on that side of the volcano created a lake from which a river flowed. Today that river is called the Sahim Nehri. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to catch you up on where we're at. This is a map of Turkey right here. This is the Black Sea. The 2 volcanoes, Hasan-Yerses is this one right here, and Hasan-Dagi is this one right here. Göbekli Tepe is located right here. Remember, these 2 volcanoes were only 20 miles apart, and in between them was the Sultan Marsh. We'll go over here to this map, let you catch up. Hasan-Dagi is right here. Erciyes-Dagi is right here. This is the 2 freshwater lakes right here, and in between is the saltwater marsh right here. And that is one of the richest ecosystems in that part of the region. I'm going to show you a little bit here. This is the mini ice age that was covering Europe at the time. This is Turkey right here in this region. And because of this ice age here, this region stayed dry and arid, and it was extremely like a desert. Going to show you here the location of Turkey so far as the tectonic plates. This is a very active volcano and earthquake zone. This is the Arabian plate right here. This is the African plate right here. And this is the Eurasian plate here. So what happens is that these 3 areas just collide with one another, and you get a lot of earthquakes and you get a lot of volcanoes there. So far as the earthquakes, no, not so far as the earthquake, Göbekli Tepe, I want to show you some of these images here. These pillars are how the Göbekli Tepe was built. You can see the arrangement here in a circular fashion. This is just like Stonehenge. These center pylons are actually taller than the others. A gold dome actually covered these, and it was just like the cities that was built on in the Sirian star system, or the home planet. On the pillars, you can see all kind of little animals here. There was crocodiles, there was foxes, there was all kind of birds. Scorpions, cattle, or probably some type of water buffalo, and this was the image of the man here. They said that he had a loincloth, but to me he looks like he has testicles and a penis when you look real closely at him. So anyway, he had male genitalia, so this was not the sons of God. The exact location, remember I said it was on the eastern slopes of Erciyes-Dagi volcano. I'm going to go over here to show you a close-up. This is the eastern slopes of it. There's a valley here and there's actually a lake that empties out, and there's actually a river that runs down this way. And right here in this region is where the Garden of Eden is located, or was located. Now it is probably under about 200 to 300 feet of sediment, because this mountain is in continuous erosion, and all of this will filter or silt in whenever the ice melts and everything. This is the top view of the volcano. It's always snow covered. This would be the eastern slopes of it, right in this region, and this is where the Garden of Eden was located. One more picture. This is a diagram of the underground cities where the workers lived. This was primarily to protect them against the Cro-Magnon giants. They had doors that were tremendously thick and large that could only be opened from the inside. They were round doors that rolled. And this village, I think it goes down 12 or 13 stories. I forget, but it's a big tourist site over in Turkey. I want to show you one picture of by Thomas Cole. He was a painter that was alive from 1801 to 1848, and one of his famous drawings, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, was called the Garden of Eden. And this guy must have had some insight or a vision of some kind, because here you see a huge volcano mountain with snow on top. There's a lake that is formed at the bottom of it. Adam and Eve is right here. The garden is right here, and there's a river that's flowing through it right here. I had already written this book in 2007, and I didn't see this picture till last year when my wife and I and our granddaughter went over to the Museum of Art, and I saw it there. I couldn't believe it looked so familiar with what I had described. So anyway, we'll continue on, and I'll show you how there's proof that this is where the Garden of Eden is. In order to prove the location of the Garden of Eden, one has to verify several important facts. Genesis 2:10. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. From thence it was parted, and became 4 heads. The head of the first is Pison, that is it which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium, and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compassed the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth is Euphrates. The location of the first river, the Pison, is the remains of the Gedez River drainage basin. Much of the river has been broken up through the uplifting of the Anatolia Plateau. Turkey sits at the junction of 3 tectonic plates, the Arabian Plate, the African Plate, and the Eurasian Plate. The river at that time encompassed the whole land of Havilah. Havilah's location has never been determined by the experts. Havilah was the Anatolia Plateau, a dry, arid desert that got less than 10 inches of rain per year. This was due to the mini ice age in Europe 10,000 years ago. So we went through this a little while ago. I want to show you the river basin, because the river now is just very, very short. It's not over in this region now, but this is the whole drainage basin of the Gedez River, and the volcanoes are right in this region right up here. So I believe that this whole region, all of this right here, is called Havilah, and it is the Anatolia Plateau. It's a raised region. Again, the tectonic plates are crushing all of this land and causing all this to uplift. So over a period of time, the river channels will change directions. Genesis 2:11-12. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. The Gedez River was known for its gold laying in clear sight, sparkling in the sun in the sands of its riverbed. What does it mean by, and the gold of that land was good? Gold ore, or a gold nugget, is generally 80% gold and 20% silver. If the gold percentage is less than 80%, the ore is called electrum. The gold ore in western Anatolia ranges as high as 90%. That is why the gold was good. Compare this to the History Channel's version of the location of the Garden of Eden in present-day Iraq. You will find that Iraq does not even list gold as one of its resources. Iraq's main resources are arable land, water, petroleum, natural gas, coal, salt, sulfur, and gypsum. The History Channel's version also states that the four rivers became one rather than one river becoming four, as in the book of Genesis. Decide for yourself which carries more validity. Genesis 2:12. There is bdellium. As far as bdellium is concerned, the plant genus Commiphora, also known as bdellium, produces a gum-like rosin called myrrh. 10,000 years ago, this plant grew in the dry, arid desert of the Anatolia Plateau. Proof of this is that myrrh was given to the baby Christ child by Caspar, a king from Tarsus in ancient Turkey. Genesis 2:12, and the onyx stone. This is a no-brainer. Remember, I just showed you the natural resources of Iraq. Here are the natural resources of Turkey: coal, iron ore, copper, chromium, antimony, mercury, gold, barite, celestite, emery, and feldspar, also called onyx. Onyx stone is a multicolored quartz or feldspar commonly used in jewelry. Other Turkish resources include limestone, magnesite, marble, peulite, pyrites, clay, arable land, and hydropower. So what happened to the rivers of the Garden of Eden? Where are they today? All that remains of Gihon is the Dead Sea in Israel. The Gihon River was destructed by earthquakes and sheet volcanoes that occurred along the Dead Sea transom. I want to show you this real quickly. The river Gihon ran from the volcanoes here, from Irsidices, down this way, and it went all the way down to the Suez Canal region down here. You can see this Dead Sea transom. This is a fault line here, which created basalt volcanoes or sheet volcanoes that came over, and they also created a lot of earthquakes. And it disrupted the river's flow here, and all that's left of it now is the Dead Sea, which is here. And the Dead Sea is the lowest level of anywhere on Earth, right there. So that's what happened to that river. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers still remain today. The headwaters today, called the Irma River, was disrupted by massive earthquakes on the East Anatolia Fault. This event was actually recorded in the Bible, Genesis 10:25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. Show you here. You have the volcanoes here, the Garden of Eden. The Tigris River flows this way, and the Euphrates River flows this way. This Eastern Anatolia Fault, they had a massive, it's not documented anywhere except in the Bible. It said that it actually divided the land. And what happened here, there was a massive earthquake here. And the river that was, the heads of the river that were flowing this way were disrupted and cut off. So that these became two individual rivers forming this way. And this is what happened to those two rivers. So there you have it. Documented evidence of the exact location of the Garden of Eden. I will show you more startling proof or answers in the next episode. From Dust Thou Art. For now, Papa Lee signing off. The Lord is my shepherd. Bye.